Well, we'll call the meeting to order. I do apologize for coming on a little bit late. We did have an executive session this evening. The executive session, we were briefed by our solicitor on litigation and had a discussion with our fire company regarding EMS and firefighting services. And we are back to a Zoom setting, a full Zoom setting. Just a quick explanation with the numbers currently on the increase in Pennsylvania for the COVID-19 pandemic. A majority of council felt more comfortable meeting in a full Zoom setting as opposed to a blended setting of having some participants live and some on Zoom. So we're back on the Zoom setting for the foreseeable future. So at this time, I'll ask our borough manager to do a roll call, please.
Councilwoman Gross.
Here.
Councilman Sigda.
Here.
Councilwoman Reeves.
Here.
Councilman Hartline.
Here.
Councilman Sprague.
Here.
Councilman Yanuzzi.
Here.
Council President Stewart.
Here.
All here. Mayor Reeves.
Yes, I'm here.
Thank you, Mayor.
Pastor Charlie, can you lead us in prayer prior to the Pledge of Allegiance?
Certainly. Father of us all, we thank you for this chance to get together over the airwaves and meet. We thank you for getting us through this past week's storms with no major damage. We thank you that you've brought us safe through to the other side with no one killed or seriously injured. We thank you for the members of this community who came together to help one another. We especially thank you for the firefighters who helped out with water rescues and pumped out flooded basements. We just thank you, and we ask that you continue to be with us in the time forward to come, especially with the rise of COVID cases in our community. We ask your blessing on us here tonight, that you be with us, be in our hearts and our minds and our tongues. Let everything that we say be for the betterment of the community. Amen. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Pastor Charlie.
Thank you, Pastor Charlie. As mentioned earlier, we did meet an executive session this evening prior to the regular meeting of council. Our upcoming meetings, we will be meeting the second Monday in September, which would be September 14th. At this time, I anticipate more than likely that will be a Zoom meeting again on the 14th of September. Dawn, we don't have any presentations this evening, correct?
Correct.
Public forum, has anybody signed up or asked for any public forum discussion?
I do not see any. CVG, can I have a confirmation? No one seems to have.
I would like to say something if possible.
Okay, and you are, state your name, please, and address.
Luann Spencer, 1232 12th Street.
Thank you.
Hi, Luann. How you doing this evening?
I'm doing fine. Last year, I spoke to council about issues I was having with neighbors' trash. And at the time, Councilwoman Reeves told me you were working on an ordinance. I think it was a quality of life ordinance that would address high grass, trash, and various things like that. And at the meeting, they voted to advertise it. But then at the very next meeting, Councilmember Stewart tabled it because he felt that it might be unfair to landlords. I was just wondering whatever happened to that ordinance.
It never came back up.
Never came back up.
Okay, well, can we bring it back up?
I'd love to.
Okay. I didn't hear that.
I didn't hear that either.
Well, I think we need an ordinance because my alleyway looks like a used furniture shop right now. I have neighbors who just insist on throwing out large pieces of furniture and appliances whenever they feel like it. Code enforcement's been there numerous times, and they just totally disregard the rules and just keep throwing out trash.
Luann, I will let you know that we do now have a new code enforcer, which I think things will be handled much differently. His
Well,
name is.
They came out and they put orange stickers on the furniture, which I didn't go up to read because I don't want the lady to know I'm the one who's ratting her out. But
You're
they're
not
just
ratting her out.
ignoring it.
You're not ratting her out. You're doing a good thing because you don't want your town looking like this.
True. But what
I'm
do you
proud of
do
you.
when the people don't follow the rules and they just, the code enforcement's been out at this house at least 15, 20 times.
Lisa Catania would like to comment.
Unfortunately, because of COVID, and you're right, the code enforcement has been out. Once they have exceeded the time frame to remove whatever a violation they have, they actually get a citation. However, the courts are closed, so
Okay.
no one is compelling them to do anything about their violation. So we could do a violation notification every day. And unfortunately, if they're not going to follow that, we have to wait for the courts to open. And
Oh.
unfortunately, it's a sad situation, but that's the reality.
Okay. Well, has somebody contacted their landlord? Because he's pretty, he jumps on things when they finally get him involved.
I can't answer that from the code enforcement side. I'd have to check with our staff.
Okay.
If you want it, Dawn has your contact information. We'll get back to you.
Okay. But I still think we need to have some type of ordinance. So I would appreciate if somebody would bring that back up. Okay. Thank you.
All right, just as a point of clarity on, the tabling of the quality of life ordinance, if memory serves me correct, that ordinance was actually providing ticketing power to both our police department as well as our code enforcement officers. And when I say ticketing power, that was giving the code enforcement officer or a police officer authority to put a monetary fine to a resident as opposed to issuing a citation that would go through the court system. Also, that quality of life ordinance overlapped with several other ordinances that we had on the books, and my concern at the time was that we would have to revise or rescind the other ordinances that were in direct conflict with the quality of life ordinance. So,
Okay.
so they were the two reasons I believe that the ordinance was tabled. Number one, most importantly, our police officers felt it was more appropriate for the code enforcement officer to be doing the ticketing as opposed to the police officer. That change was going to be made. Also, the code enforcement officer would have to revise other ordinances that said that for instance, the grass cutting, we would issue a citation as opposed to issuing a monetary fine. So we would have to in turn modify that existing ordinance on the books.
Okay.
The courts are
That's
sending out
your concern,
citations.
Leanne.
You hear me, Bill? The courts are sending out
I
citations.
didn't hear you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay.
Mayor, I didn't hear it. Mayor, can you repeat that? I didn't hear you.
I said the courts are issuing or mailing out citations when they come in.
The courts are mailing out citations, yes, but they're not hearing any civil cases right now. I don't believe until November.
Right.
Okay.
Ms. Jones, can I ask you to, I know we were going to read the ordinance for the disorderly conduct as well as the drug paraphernalia. Can I ask you to do a public reading of that ordinance or both those ordinances?
Sure. All right, the drug paraphernalia ordinance. An ordinance of the Borough of Eddystone, Delaware County, Pennsylvania, establishing a drug paraphernalia ordinance to prohibit the possession of drug paraphernalia and establishing penalties for non-compliance with this ordinance. Whereas the Eddystone Borough Council has received a request from the Eddystone Police Department for regulations governing the possession of drug paraphernalia, and whereas the Eddystone Borough Council believes that the use of possession of drug paraphernalia would be determined to the health, safety, and welfare of its citizens, would be detrimental to the health, safety, and welfare of its citizens, and now therefore be it enacted and ordained by the Borough Council of the Borough of Eddystone in a regular meeting assembled and by authority of the same to provide regulations governing drug paraphernalia as follows. Drug paraphernalia. A, definitions. Drug paraphernalia includes all equipment, products, and materials of any kind which are used, intended for use or designed for use in planting, propagating, cultivating, growing, harvesting, manufacturing, compounding, converting, producing, possessing, preparing, testing, analyzing, packaging, repackaging, storing, container, concealing, injecting, ingesting, inhaling, or otherwise introducing into the human body a controlled substance. The term includes, but is not limited to, 1, kits for use in the planting, propagating, cultivating, growing, or harvesting of any species of plant which is a controlled substance or that from which a controlled substance can be derived. 2, kits used intended for use or designed for use in manufacturing, compounding, converting, producing, processing, or preparing a controlled substance. 3, isomerization devices used intended for use or designed for use in increasing the potency of any species of plant which is a controlled substance. 4, testing equipment used intended for use or designed for use in identifying or analyzing the strength of effectiveness or purity of controlled substances. 5, scales and balances used intended for use or designed for use in weighing or measuring controlled substances. 6, dilutants and odorants such as quinine, hydrochloride, mannitol, mannite, dextrose, and lactose used intended for use or designed for use in diluting, mixing, and or preparing controlled substances. 7, separation gins and sifters used intended for use or designing for use in removing twigs and seeds from or in otherwise cleaning or refining cannabis. 8, containers intended for use or designed for use in compounding controlled substances, such as metal, wood and acrylic, glass, stone, plastic, or ceramic pipes, with or without screens, permanent screens, hashes heads, or punctured metal bowls. B, water pipes. C, carburation tubes and devices. D, smoking and carburation masks. E, broach clips, meaning objects used to hold burning materials such as a cannabis cigarette that has become too small or short to be held in the hand. F, miniature cocaine spoons and cocaine vials. G, chamber pipes. H, carburetor pipes. I, electric pipes. J, air-driven pipes. K, chillums. L, bongs. M, ice pops or chillers. N, grinders. Person includes an individual, firm, company, partnership, corporation, or other entity. B, determination. 1, in determining whether an object is drug paraphernalia, a court or other authority or jury shall consider, in addition to all other logically relevant factors, the following. A, statements by an owner or by anyone in control of the object concerning its use. B, the proximity of the object in time and space to conduct or other objects which indicates a violation of the provisions of this part. C, the proximity of the object to controlled substances. D, the existence of any residue of controlled substance on the object. E, direct or circumstantial evidence of the intent of an owner or of anyone in control of the object to deliver it to persons who he or she knows or should reasonably know intend to use the object to facilitate a violation of this part. The innocence of an owner or of anyone in control of the object as to a direct violation of this part shall not prevent a finding that the object is intended for use or designed for use as drug paraphernalia. F, instructions, oral or written, provided with the object concerning its use. G, descriptive materials accompanying the object which explain or depict its use. H, any advertising concerning its use. I, the manner in which the object is displayed for sale. J, whether the owner or anyone in control of the object is a legitimate supplier of like or related items to the community, such as the licensed distributor or dealer of tobacco products. K, direct or circumstantial evidence of the ratio of sales of the object or objects to the total sales of the business enterprise. L, the existence and scope of legitimate uses of the object in the community. M, expert testimony concerning its use. C, unlawful conduct, unless otherwise permitted under the Medical Marijuana Act of April 17, 2016, PL 84, number 116, as amended, the use, possession, sale, manufacture, distribution, delivery, purchase, and advertisement of drug paraphernalia should be regulated as follows. Possessed, sold, or offered for sale or purchase for one or more purposes stated in this part. It shall be unlawful for any person to place in any newspaper, magazine, handbill, or other publication any advertisement knowing or under circumstances where one reasonably should know that the purpose of the advertisement in whole or in part is to promote the sale of objects designed or intended for use as drug paraphernalia. Any person who violates this part by delivering, furnishing, or transferring drug paraphernalia to another person is subject to punishment as provided for in said, the number is not listed, penalty. Any person, firm, or corporation who shall violate any provision of section so-and-so, D, upon conviction, therefore in an action brought before a magisterial district judge in the manner provided for the enforcement of summary offenses under the Pennsylvania Rules of Criminal Procedure, shall be sentenced to pay a fine of not more than $1,000 plus costs together with reasonable attorney fees, and in default of payment of said fine and costs to a term of imprisonment not to exceed 90 days. Each day that a violation of this part continues or Each section of this part which shall be found to have been violated shall constitute a separate offense. Severability and repealer. A, ordinances, resolutions, or parts of ordinance and resolutions inconsistent herewith are hereby repealed. B, the provisions of this ordinance are severable, and if any section, subsection, clause, sentence, or portion of same shall be held or declared invalid, illegal, or unconstitutional by any court or competent jurisdiction, the decision shall not affect or impair any of the remaining sections, subsections, clauses, sentences, or parts thereof of this ordinance. It is hereby declared to be the intent of the Eddystone Borough Council that this ordinance would have been adopted if such illegal, invalid, or unconstitutional section, subsection, clause, sentence, or part thereof had not been included herein. C, effective date. The ordinance shall become effective upon enactment as provided for by law. And then it reads, enacted and ordained this day of such and such 2020, signed by Eddystone Borough Council. I think Lieutenant Pretty should have been held accountable to read that.
I'm sorry. Council, is there any questions that you'd have either to the chief or Lieutenant Pretty regarding the drug paraphernalia or the proposed drug paraphernalia ordinance?
Aluminum foil wasn't on that list, so that's okay.
Run that by me, Karen.
I said aluminum foil wasn't on that list, so that's okay.
I guess it all depends on what the aluminum foil is being used for.
You know what I'm talking about.
I know what you're talking about.
All right.
Chief, are you with us?
I am.
The only question I have, and I'm not as familiar with the what's going on at the Commonwealth level as I should be, but I know there's been a lot of discussion at the state level about the legalization of marijuana. In the event that legislation begins to move forward, what effect does that have, if any, on this ordinance here?
Yeah, we would make the appropriate adjustments to be in conformance with the Pennsylvania state law. All this ordinance does, it gives us the option. Right now, if we had someone that we were to charge with drug paraphernalia, it would be a criminal complaint. To be sent in front of a judge, you have to get an attorney. This ordinance gives us the ability to transform that into a citation violation, in which the violation will come back to your municipality.
What we're doing is we're providing the police department with a mechanism to streamline the process of if somebody was to be found with some type of drug paraphernalia, you could make it a citation that they would simply pay the citation and no longer have to go. They would still have to go through the court system, or no longer go through the court system?
Just at the DJ level. I mean, it would just be handled like a speeding ticket.
Okay.
Chief, my sound cut out for part of that. Does this exempt medical marijuana users or no?
No, it's in conformance with the medical marijuana law. Within the medical marijuana law, it tells you what you're able and not able to do. The ordinance is in conjunction with the present law of 2016.
Very good. Thank you.
Any other questions of council? Dawn, could you also read the disorderly conduct ordinance as well?
Sure. Borough of Eddystone, Delaware County, Pennsylvania, ordinance number 2020 and such. An ordinance of the Borough of Eddystone, Delaware County, Pennsylvania, establishing a disorderly conduct ordinance to prohibit disorderly conduct and establishing penalties for non-compliance with this ordinance. Whereas the Eddystone Borough Council has received a request from the Eddystone Police Department for regulations prohibiting disorderly conduct and for clarification of penalties associated with failure to adhere to those regulations. And whereas based upon the recommendations received from the Eddystone Police Department, the Eddystone Borough Council desires to provide regulations specifically prohibiting disorderly conduct. Now, therefore, being enacted and ordained by the Borough Council of the Borough of Eddystone in regular meeting assembled and by authority of the same as follows. Disorderly conduct prohibited. Any person who shall be guilty of any act, word, or contact causing or tending to cause a disturbance of the peace and good order of the borough, or causing or tending to cause any danger, discomfort, or annoyance to any of the inhabitants of the borough or users of the borough thoroughfares, or who shall willfully make any loud noise, boisterous or unseemly noise or disturbance, or who shall fight or quarrel or incite others to fight or quarrel, or who shall use threatening, obscene, profane, vulgar, or abusive language upon any of the public streets, alleys, or sidewalks, or public grounds in the borough of Eddystone, to the annoyance of persons nearby or traveling upon any street, sidewalk, or alley, or being lawfully upon any of the public grounds in the borough. Said language shall be deemed to be threatening, obscene, profane, vulgar, or abusive if it shall be such as to offend the sensibilities of a reasonable person hearing said language, or who shall indulge in immoral or obscene conduct upon any of the public streets, alleys, or sidewalks in the borough of Eddystone, to the annoyance of persons nearby traveling upon any street, sidewalk, or alley, or being lawfully upon any of the public grounds in the borough. Said conduct shall be deemed to be immoral and obscene if it shall be such as to offend the sensibilities of a reasonable person observing said conduct, or who shall loaf or loiter or congregate upon any of the public streets, sidewalks, or alleys, or public grounds in the borough of Eddystone, so as to block said public streets, sidewalks, or alleys, or obstruct vehicle traffic on said public streets or alleys to the annoyance of persons nearby or traveling upon street, sidewalk, or alley, or being lawfully upon any of the public grounds in the borough of Eddystone, whereby the public peace is broken or disturbed, or the traveling public annoyed, shall be guilty of disorderly conduct. Penalties for violations. Any person, firm, or corporation who shall violate any provisions of said code upon conviction thereof in an action brought before a magisterial district judge in the manner provided for the enforcement of summary offenses under the Pennsylvania Rules of Criminal Procedure, shall be sentenced to pay a fine of not more than 1,000 plus costs, together with reasonable attorney fees, and in default of payment of said fines and costs, to a term of imprisonment not to exceed 90 days. Each day that a violation of this part continues, or each section of this part which shall be found to have been violated, shall constitute a separate offense. And severability and repealer. A, ordinances, resolutions, or parts of ordinances and resolutions inconsistent herewith are hereby repealed. B, the provisions of this ordinance are severable, and if any section, subsection, clause, sentence, or portion of same shall be held or declared invalid, illegal, or unconstitutional by any court or competent jurisdiction, the decision shall not affect or impair any of the remaining sections, subsections, clauses, sentences, or parts thereof of this ordinance. It is hereby declared to be the intent of the Eddystone Borough Council that this ordinance would have been adopted if such illegal, invalid, or unconstitutional section, subsection, clause, sentence, or part thereof had not been included herein. C, effective date. The ordinance shall become effective upon enactment as provided for by law. Enacted and ordained this such and such date of 2020 by Eddystone Borough Council.
Council, any questions?
No, it's great.
Chief, any comments? Just the purpose of the ordinance from the perspective of the police department.
Yeah, once again, the perspective of the ordinance is to turn it into a borough ordinance and take it out of a state statute hand. So the officer has, we have a little bit of choice there, whether we're going to send it to a state statute or write it up as a borough ordinance.
Our ordinance to 5 would go to the borough, not to half to the state.
Council, any other questions or comments? Not hearing any. We'll move on to discussion about the 4th Street Bridge. Council, we do not need to make any type of decision this evening regarding the 4th Street Bridge. However, Borough Council has been contacted by the county. That is a county-owned bridge. The county was a little concerned that the bridge is closed. Dawn and I met with the county official as well as a gentleman from their engineering firm that does the bridge condition inspections. They're not asking us to reopen the bridge. However, the county does have a cost associated with their bridge condition inspections, and they were looking to see if there was any interest that the borough may have in purchasing that bridge from the county so the county could take it off of their inventory, and then at such time the borough would be able to do anything that they please to do with that bridge. For instance, if you just wanted to keep that bridge closed, we could continue to keep that bridge closed because it would be our property and we would be able to do with our property whatever we pleased. Dawn, did I miss anything on the summary of the meeting with the county?
No, I forwarded this to all of the council members, and it gives us 4 options. Option 1 is to reopen the roadway. Option 2, demolish the bridge. Option 3, transfer ownership of the bridge to Eddystone Borough and continue to have it used as a pedestrian bridge. Or last, option 4, transfer ownership of the bridge to Eddystone Borough and reopen the bridge.
Can I ask a question?
Absolutely.
Sure.
What, since the guy was there, what is the condition of the said bridge?
He provided us a condition inspection report.
Okay.
I don't remember exactly. To keep in mind that it's a 100-year-old bridge.
I understand that.
So to say that the bridge is in good condition, that would be a stretch. However, the bridge was in a condition that needed minimal rehabilitation.
Well, since this wasn't that's my question, since it wasn't our bridge and it was their bridge, did they take care of the maintenance and stuff of that said bridge?
They will continue to take care of the maintenance as the maintenance is required. Because there's no vehicular traffic on that bridge,
right?
It would not be a prudent expenditure on their part to do any type of maintenance whatsoever because it's not serving anybody at this time.
Right.
However, in years to come, they may be in a position where it comes up to where they say, yes, it does need some type of maintenance, and we would do the maintenance. However, we would like to have the bridge reopened because they're spending money for vehicular use of that bridge.
Okay. Now, would you by off chance know when was the last time they worked on that bridge? Have they worked on that bridge in the last 10, 15 years?
I would say in the last 10, 15 years, there has been no work whatsoever on that bridge. However, they have done bridge condition inspections. And Ms. Catania, I believe it's every 2 or every 5 years that they come in to do an inspection. Off the top of your head?
Yeah, every 2 years, there's an inspection of all the bridges. I will tell you that if the borough decides that you would like to own the bridge, you would be responsible for those inspections. However, PennDOT does those inspections, and you'll be charged as part of the liquid fuels. So there is some cost to the borough beyond just the normal maintenance and operation of that bridge.
I say demolish it.
And who would pay to demolish it? You'd still have to cover it. I mean, because that would be an open, you know. I just, for the time being, keep it closed, like we have been, and until we decide what we want to do.
If I may, I think probably what would be best is for Public Works Committee to get together, come up with feasibility of doing that or any of the other options, including some options that aren't on that list.
You put a barrier up, right, Lisa?
I'm sorry?
You could put like a wall barrier up.
You could, yes.
You could knock it down,
Yes.
put a wall barrier up.
I think well, if you demolish it, and I didn't want to get into the weeds right now, but if you demolish it and you have a situation where one of the other bridges is out, you would be able to open that as long as right now the bridge is in fair condition. So I think we've got to take a look at it a little bit more closely than just a knee-jerk reaction.
Right. Could we also find out from them any information they have on that bridge? Like when was the last time they really inspected it and what they found? You know,
I have
paperwork
that.
on what they've done in the last. Okay, great.
I have that, and they were good enough to share that with Dawn and Bill. It was forwarded that. Believe that the bridge is in fair condition, if I recall correctly. There weren't any priority items. There's 1 to 5, and they usually do an inspection. They'll give you the 1 to 5. 1 is a priority, needs to be done immediately. They're not seeing any of those on that inspection sheet. And they also give you cost estimates of what it would cost to do that particular action item. So there's a lot of information on that. I don't know that I do know that maintenance is not shown on there when the last time they did maintenance.
You know, there is a lot of vehicles do park on that bridge during the day, and at nighttime, tractor trailers park on that bridge.
Okay.
Yeah, there's no load
I
restrictions
say
on
we
that
wait a
bridge.
while. Right. I say we, like, I go with your suggestion, Lisa, to let the people have a meeting and decide what they think, you know, is a good protocol.
Lisa, is that something that we could possibly, I know we've got this 291 corridor study coming up. Is it something we could possibly look at including a look at the 4th Street Bridge and decide, you know, through that corridor study, whether it's in the borough's best interest to potentially purchase that, if we should turn it into a pedestrian-only bridge, or should we demolish it, or you know, look at some potential options through that corridor study.
I think so. I know that the county is looking for answers sooner than we'll probably have that TCDI study completed. You're probably looking 6 to 9 months before you do have anything. So I don't know whether you want to go back to the county and see if they would be willing to wait until after that's completed. Because we'll look at safety, we'll look at traffic circulation, pedestrian circulation. You know, maybe you want to leave it and do a bike trail, put the 290 or put the East Coast Greenway bike trail through there, since it is already, is already done in Chester City and portions done in Tinicum. So
Right.
they're trying to get that other piece.
What we could do,
There's a lot of things that, yes, we will touch on as part of the TCDI.
another idea, what we could do is demolish it and put a fishing pier in there
Yeah.
so the kids can learn how to fish.
We always wanted to do that at the creek, you know, but we didn't have any room.
Lisa, I got the impression from the county that they were not in a real big hurry. You know, I'm sure that they don't want us to table it for an entire year. But if we do explain to the county that we've got the corridor study coming up,
Who is taking care of that? Jack Burling? That's who you met with, Jack, right?
I believe that is correct, yes.
Yes, Jack Burling, Harry Young, John Bush.
Yeah, okay.
Dawn, I know that you've got on the discussions about the commercial inspections.
Yes, so it has been suggested to us as the Borough of Eddystone with our new group of inspectors and code enforcement that we, like other municipalities have already had in play, yearly commercial property inspections. I highly suggest this since it was suggested to me by Charles Catania Jr. and Bill Gavin of Catania Engineering. And when we had our sit down last week, other municipalities have been doing this. I think it's highly suggested to us because we don't know what's going on down there in the industrial park along the riverfront.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
So why shouldn't we have to charge our property owners to do yearly rental inspections. Let's do yearly commercial inspections as well. We can keep on top of what businesses are in here, what they're doing, what's coming in and out of our town. And we can certainly, keep this line of communication going as to what's coming in and out of our borough.
I thought we already had that.
No. We have, the yearly rental inspections, but that's like a property tenant inspections of rental properties, but nothing on the lines of commercial, like going down there to Penn Terminals and saying hello and doing our yearly inspection to make sure they have transferred it over again.
I think we should. I think that's a good call for all of us.
I will get that on the agenda to be approved for September's meeting. Thank you.
Thank you.
Council President Stewart, the other thing that was brought to my attention that they want to put on for discussion, all the right to knows have been satisfied, but last under discussion is the borough communications, which I think we touched on earlier, but I will let Councilman Yanuzzi take over with this.
Okay, so the website is not as I would like it to be, and it's one of the more important things I think to all of us here is to be as open as humanly possible to the people that we serve. We're doing a pretty good job of updating the Facebook page with the information that the county sends out and stuff that's going on in town. But we haven't been updating the website. And being that the condition of the website is less than favorable, I think that we should start using Hoff Communications to update the website. I reached out to Mrs. Hoff, and we had discussed. She's first. We were going to need her to fix the way that the website looks. Then we're going to have to require her to update every time there needs to be updated. So, for instance, after this meeting's recording becomes available, immediately have it available to the people at Eddystone off the website.
May I ask a question?
Yes, Karen.
When did we stop using Hoff? Because we had Jennifer Hoff for a couple of years.
So when former Councilman Glenn Wilson took over as a communication chair, we stopped having meetings, and he took control of it. I think his intention was to save the borough money, but it is a very complicated thing, and I think that since we already budgeted money for it, I think we should use the Hoff Communications. And essentially, we should try this out for 90 days, and then that'll bring us to the end of the year. If it's not what we want to do, we can revisit it, and we can do something else. But we essentially to update the she charges us to work on the website, so that'll cost some money, but we have to reach out to her to find out how much that money that's going to cost.
It was very minuscule, Rob, when we were using her. Like, we would send her stuff and she would post it, she could even come in and show Tina how to do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
How to post stuff.
Well, I kind of prefer, because of the problems that we got right now, or because one person had control over the internet, and I'm not saying anything bad about Councilman Wilson, but I just think that a third party should be the one in control, or at least multiple people should be in complete control. And
Right, but somebody should have
Well, there was until he
it.
took over, and he
Sorry,
knocked everybody else off.
I can't hear you both at the same time. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. There was other people involved in it, the whole 9 yards. Jennifer Huff was the one, and Wilson knocked her off by blocking her from getting on it and doing what she had to do with it.
We can't go back in time, so let's just move forward.
I understand that, but he should have never done that. And you know as well as I do, because it takes more than one person to run the website.
Well, I mean, so let me continue with what my conversation with Jennifer Hoff was. So she said that basically we set an amount. So we say, all right, it's not, this is an arbitrary number, but we say, all right, $30 is what you're budgeted a month. So every time we got to update, do not go over $30 or whatever it is. It could be, whatever we say.
And how do you decide $30? What does that?
I just made that up out of the top.
Oh, okay.
It's not $30. It's
Pay attention, Beth.
Again, but I didn't know if it was like for a line, for a paragraph. I mean, is that what it's going about?
Well, I mean,
I know you're making it up as you go, but
we need to update. We need to update the borough website with the meeting minutes, the recordings of the videos, and any sort of community events, any information that we want to get out from the committees, anything. And my vision is to be as open as humanly possible to the people.
Right.
At one time, though, Rob, we did have Jennifer Huff under contract, and she would do all that by her contract without charging us anything more. And that wasn't that much money.
Well, can we look at the contract? I mean, as far as I understand, she's under the same contract, right, Mayor?
No, I think Wilson did away with her.
No, she's still. She still has access to the Facebook page, and I mean, I think
he gave it back to her.
Well, I don't know if she has. I think she's ultimately in control of the website.
And well, she was until Wilson took the
to answer your question, yes, former Councilman Wilson did
right. Yes, contact her and see how you make out. I'm sure she's still under contract then.
Well,
but I did
have a conversation with her, and she is under the impression that she's.
I do agree that it should be in the hands of more than two people.
Yeah.
I do agree on that. Absolutely. Not one person, but 2 or 3 people that can add to it, because everyone has a different point of view. Like they have certain things they want to put in, other people want to put other things in. Oh, absolutely. I agree to that.
But I think going to third party is the best course of action. And then, like the communications committee is 3 people. So all those people should have access. Yeah. On top of that, like we need to, just communications is extremely important. We have to communicate with
absolutely. Yeah.
So I mean, I guess we haven't been doing it in the way that we should be doing it, and we should start making moves to update. So I mean, like that's every time Dawn sends out an email in regards to anything with the borough to update the communications on the Facebook page or the website, we're going to add Huff Communications to that email chain and update but I need to find out how much it's going to cost to redo the website.
Right. Well, what about the original paperwork we have on it? It should all be in the borough.
Well,
original
the thing
agreement.
is that if you go to the website right now on your phone, the website is in a little bit of disrepair. So like she would have to do work to get that back to the website.
I understand that, but I'm just suggesting that the original contract be looked at as something to verify, look at what we had, and we can add on from that. Just to have an idea.
All right, Dawn, is there any way you could get that contract and we can take a look at it and bring it up in the next council meeting? But do I have permission to talk from council to talk to Jennifer Hoff about fixing the website, or should I wait until the next meeting?
Well, you said you wanted 90 days. Yeah.
Say again?
Do it and get it over with. Talk to her.
Yeah.
Talk.
Is that everybody's, if everybody's?
Just don't sign a contract with her.
You said you want to give her 90 days, right?
Well, I mean, I want to, if, I don't foresee in 90 days us going any other direction with it.
Right.
Talk
Okay.
to her. It ain't gonna hurt to talk, Rob.
Yeah.
Rob,
Absolutely.
I have a copy of the original proposal. If Dawn can't find it in the file, I can forward that to you. It also goes into a lot of detail exactly how she was building things, and then it did provide some information in there for maintenance. Certainly it may be a little bit more cumbersome for her to have to undo some of the things that were put up on the homepage. But she's been very reasonable with us in the past when it comes to cost.
I want to make it clear that the Councilman Wilson had good intentions when he did all this stuff.
I'm sure he did.
We have to, we have to go back to what we originally agreed with. So, okay, if there's no objections, I'll talk to her about redoing the website and getting a price going, and then,
Listen, yeah.
One last thing under discussion, I apologize, is the Thomas J. Anderson information that I believe I sent as an attachment. Just to bring everyone up to speed, Donna Stillwell was also included on this. They have suggested as to, paying item line number 9 or 10. I believe I will let Councilman Sprague voice his opinion on this, and then Donna Stillwell can also bring us up to speed as to what may still need to be paid.
Right. So, I mean, basically, without the MMO is calculated every year based on police salaries. There's typically there's a minimum number that you're sent that you have to pay into the pension every year. Because of the widespread financial distress with local governments as a result of COVID, the state has lowered the calculation of those costs. So they sent us Thomas J. Anderson sent us basically 2 options. One, we go with the lower number that the state allows, which I believe was 312,000.
926, yes.
Right. Or we could use the old formulation, which would be, I believe it was 361,000.
Correct.
Okay, so either one of those is viable. My personal opinion on the matter is, given that we're already dealing with a distressed police pension, first of all, we're all right financially as of right now. And second of all, if we're going to make up that money somewhere, I don't think the police pension is the place to make it up. So my personal advice as chair of finance would be that we take the higher number next year.
Okay.
I also spoke to Jim Kennedy at Anderson today, and I agree with Chris, especially after speaking to him. The other thing that we're going to do is start making payments on the 17 and 18 outstanding obligations that are out there. So we're going to start working to pay them down. This month, I'm going to send him a payment. So I agree that that's what we should do. And I will forecast that in my projections, which hopefully I'll review within the next week or so. I can send them to council, and if we want, we can have a Zoom meeting just to see where we are. So no, I agree. That's what we should do.
Don, I believe council needs to take action before the end of September. So it's action we could actually take next month of whether or not council approves the payment of line number 9 or line number 10, which would be the market value. Now, the payment of the MMO, that's due by the end of the calendar year, correct?
Yes.
So that 360,000 the council approves, that would be due by the end of the calendar year. And as you had mentioned earlier, we still are in arrears from last year. We have not paid last year's MMO. Is that correct?
Right, but when I talked to Jim today, and I have to kind of go back and talk to him, so in September, you should also be getting money from the state, and then we have to turn that over immediately. But based off of my conversation with him, it wasn't, the 360 is the 2021. I got to go back and talk to him about that because there was some confusion in my conversation with him. So I think the number might be lower than that. So I'll double check with him, but we'll project that in the forecast to be paid at the end of December.
Okay, and Dawn, just so that when you're on the heads up about money being received at the Commonwealth, and I don't know if they still do this or not, but I do recall, I think in years past, that you would receive the Commonwealth's contribution to the police pension plan, as well as the fireman's relief money, all in one single check. Now, the memo line on that check has it broken out of how much goes to fireman's relief and how much goes to police pension. But I remember it was a little bit of confusion last year and the year before that those monies came in one singular check. And Don, I believe, what is it, 30 days after you receive that money, you've got to disperse it to both fireman's relief as well as police pension.
Correct. Yeah, and we'll turn that around quickly and get it out, so.
Understood. So I will put that on the agenda for a motion in September.
Right, and do I need you to give me a motion to pay down outstanding liabilities that were already agreed to be paid? I don't need you to do that, correct?
I don't believe so,
That's
no.
correct. If the council's already authorized payment.
Right.
they've authorized payment.
Okay.
With no other discussions this evening, we'll go to the action items. At this time, council, I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes from the Zoom meeting, which was our regular council meeting held the 13th of July.
So moved.
Was that Chris?
I believe that was Chris. I'll take a second.
I second it.
Any questions or comments from council prior to taking action? Not hearing any. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Dawn, did you include in the minutes the approval of the minutes for the July 13th meeting? I'm sorry, the special meeting for July 15th?
Special meeting for July 15th should be the next motion to approve.
Council, at this time, I entertain a motion to approve the minutes from the special meeting of July 15th.
So moved.
No.
No.
Seconded.
I got a motion made and seconded. Council, any comments or questions prior to
Question,
me calling for a roll call?
Mr. President.
Yes, sir.
Did they find the file on the mold?
Did they find the what?
The file for the bowl of redemption down at the firehouse?
Not yet. I'm still working on that. I'll report back to council soon.
Didn't find that. Okay.
So the answer is no, not at this time. Any other comments prior to the roll call? Ms. Jones? Ms. Jones, can I have a roll call vote, please?
Certainly. I have Councilwoman Gross,
No.
Councilman Sigda.
No.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
No.
Thank you. Councilwoman Reeves,
No.
Councilman Hartline,
Yes.
Councilman Sprague,
Yes.
Council Vice President Yanezi,
Yes.
Council President Stewart.
Yes. Motion passes 4-3. Ms. Stillwell, can we have the treasurer's report for the month of July, please?
Yeah, if you should have received the financial statements as well as the cash disbursements and cash receipts for the month. We have through into August, we have a strong cash balance, so I'm going to pay the TAN note this month. So I'll work with Dawn to make sure that gets paid, and also pay down some of the outstanding liabilities. I'm still working with Keystone to resolve the outstanding LST and EIT tax liabilities from 13 through Q1 of 2017. I requested reports from Paychecks. They charge $50 for the report per report, which I wasn't excited about, but it's probably more cost effective for them to run them than for me to try and do it through the Citrix system. Also trying to work with Tina to get Paychecks to update us off of the Citrix, which is a very, very, very old system, to the new Paychecks Flex. Supposedly their Paychecks is moving everybody onto the Paychecks Flex. So trying to get that done as well. The other thing I would like to do is update the QuickBooks to 2020. We moved it up to QuickBooks 2015, I believe. But if we can get it up to 2020, that would be awesome. So I think I would like to try and do that sooner rather than later. The other thing is we're doing it, there's a liquid fuels audit right now for years 16, 17, 18, and 19. So Tina's been very supportive, helping Christine through the audit. And we're trying to work through that. So as soon as I get the results from the audit or any findings, I will let everybody know. Also, Christine is going to be training with Dawn on the system tomorrow. So that I think they have a 10 o'clock Zoom meeting training, and Dawn will begin doing the liquid fuels reporting. I think that's all I have. I don't know if anybody has any questions on any of the reports. We've reconciled, all the bank statements are reconciled through July. And we're also cleaning up some of the balance sheets accounts and making sure they agree, especially the due to, due froms for the sewer and liquid fuels fund.
I have a question.
Yeah.
And the question is, where is the beautification money, the $3,300? It doesn't show up on the thing you sent to my phone.
I'll have to look into that. I'm not sure. Where was it before? It was there was a beautification fund. I know that.
Right, and that's where it's supposed to stay, and somehow it got moved. I don't know where it's at.
Okay.
Dan, I believe that's still at WISFIS. I know Kathy was asking, and somewhere along the lines, Christine, Kathy, and Tina and myself all verified. I want to say there was about $3,000 in it the last time it was questioned. We checked into, and I believe it's in the WISFIS account.
Oh, wouldn't some of that money been used for the flags?
It's
on the balance sheet, Donna.
Yeah, it should be on the balance sheet.
That could have been, Karen, yes, but I'm not 100% as to all the veterans banners. I can certainly ask Kathy tomorrow. I'm sure she'll have an answer for that.
It is on the balance sheet.
It's on the balance sheet, okay.
Can I ask a question about those flags? When's the next round of, people are asking me when the next round of purchasing those flags are?
I have to ask Kathy.
Yeah, Kathy's been running that, Rob. If you want to send me an email, I can make sure to forward it to Kathy. And then this way I'll forward it back to all of council, just in case anybody gets asked. Maybe it's something we could possibly update with the website in case anybody's interested.
Sounds good.
Donna, I have a question.
Yeah.
For the 2020 QuickBooks update, do you need a motion of council to do that? Is that something you're just waiting on logistically, or?
Yeah, I think logistically, I need Steve G to do it. Well, I think we have to purchase the software, so he has some work to do, and I know his time is valuable. So I just want to try and push that a little bit to get it updated.
Perfect. Thank you.
Donna,
Yes.
was there some reason why the borough manager's salary was higher this month?
There were three
This
pays.
month?
3 pays. Everybody, mostly, it was a 3-pay month.
Yeah, but the salary amount was more.
Yeah, because there are three payrolls.
Okay, so they get paid bi-weekly?
Correct.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep. Yeah, I think there's like 2 or 3 months a year when there's a 3-month payroll, which everybody
Yeah, you
likes.
have an extra pay. Yep.
Yeah, there's an extra pay. So for those of us that get paid bi-weekly, we're very happy.
Yep. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Council, any other questions of the treasurer's report? Dawn, do I have a motion?
I don't believe anyone made the
Can I get a
motion.
motion to approve, please?
Oh,
Order.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Questions, comments prior to the call for action? All in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Can I have a motion to approve cash receipts and disbursements journal, please?
So moved.
Seconded.
Motion made and seconded. This is where we ask Karen to say the piece and what Despo used to say.
I make a motion for all bills to be paid, all money deposited, and all bills to be paid once they're approved by their committee chairs.
Any questions?
Good job, Karen.
Call for action. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Chief Macheski, the police report for the month of July 2020.
Sure. Police report for July 2020, 357 calls for service for a total of 2334, 57 citations for a total of 370, 8 accidents for a total of 58. 18 thefts for a total of 107, parking tickets 19 for a total of 251, criminal arrests 13 for a total of 111. To conclude my report, I just want to say the flooding activity we had last week, our highway department did an excellent job. They were faced with a lot of obstacles, and they just really did a really great job. They were out all day. They were helping the police department out and the fire department also. That concludes my report.
Council, at this time, I entertain a motion to accept the police report.
So moved.
Seconded.
Motion made and seconded. Any questions prior to the call for action? With no questions, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Mr. Burke, you still with us?
Yes, sir.
Fire report for the month of July 2020, please.
Fire report is 12 calls, 5-day, 7-night. Total time in service is 6.5 hours. Total members responding is 53, with an average of 4.5 persons per call. The breakdown is 1 building fire, 2 automatic fire alarms, 1 investigation, 2 motor vehicle accidents, 4 gas leaks, and 2 assist EMS. There was 11 calls in Eddystone and 1 mutual aid to Tinicum Township. The EMS division was 38 calls, 15 transports, 1 CO alarm, 1 cancellation, 6 refusals, 1 fire standby, 1 DOA, 6 QRS responses, and 6 calls were handled by mutual aids. And that's all I have.
Council, you've heard the fire report for July 2020. Can I have a motion to accept, please?
So moved.
I had Chris. Who seconded it?
Do I have a second, please?
Seconded.
Thank you, Justin.
Any questions of Chief Burke prior to the call for action? Not hearing any questions. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Ms. Jones, did you receive a BCO report from Barry Izett for the month of June? I know we tabled the acceptance of his report because it was not in a form which we are used to seeing it. Has Matt turned in a report for June 2020?
No, he has not. And I also reminded him when I met with both Matt McCloskey from Barry Izett and both Charles Catania and Bill Gavin last Wednesday, August the 5th, that council did not accept me reporting the piece that he emailed me. I advised, I believe he is also aware that they will not receive their last check until we receive this final report. I did ask him. I sent another message this morning reminding him with our Zoom link tonight. So I'm not sure if he's on here. I have not seen anything with his name on my participant list. So no. But Lisa Catania will be reporting, from what I'm aware of, for Catania BCO.
Ms. Matt's report till next month.
I'm sorry?
I make a motion to table Matt's report till next month, so we actually have one.
Not a problem.
Ms. Catania, can we have the code enforcement report for the month of July 2020, please?
Thank you. Yeah, I just found out that I had to do this about 5:30 tonight. I have, for building inspections, there were 3 permits that were issued in the amount of $9,795. UNO CO inspections, there were 2 properties that were inspected. There were 0 COs that were issued. Contractors' licenses, there were 0 issued. Code enforcement, I have no report on that. And rental inspections, there were 0.
Council, you've heard the BCO report for the month of July 2020. Can I have a motion to accept, please?
So moved.
Seconded.
Any questions or comments prior to the call for action? Not hearing any. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Ms. Jones, the health inspection report for July 2020.
Yes, July 2020 health report. Eddystone Produce along with Subway have both been inspected. Follow-ups are needed in both locations prior to issuing the certificate. Eddystone ShopRite is next to be inspected. Eddystone does not have proper health inspection tools, which I brought up last month, such as thermometers, flashlight, chemical test kits, ammonia, chloride, iodine, etc. I'm looking into possibly getting these little by little as we can afford them. We're also working on new Eddystone health certificates. As of July 2020, 175 rental inspection letters have been mailed. 37 rentals have paid. Actually, that number is more up to date now that we're in August, but as of July, 37 rentals have paid. Inspections started July 29th with our new code enforcement inspector, Dave Chang-Leon from Catania's, and they will be done every Wednesday for rentals and COs, although Dave did do an additional one on Friday because the realtor waited to the last minute, and Dave was nice enough to squeeze that in on his Friday schedule. He has a long list of inspections for this coming Friday. For this coming Wednesday, along with the 19th. We're fully booked both those days as of now. That's my report.
Once a week?
Wednesdays are the days right now that we are doing scheduling inspections, correct. It's actually hard narrowing them down to get inspections anyway. Some don't want inspections right now due to the COVID. Others we're getting in probably at least 4 to 5 rental applications and payments each day, which I feel is good, but hoping that it helps us to get a hold of these tenant problems that we have currently in our borough.
But let me say, if it becomes an issue that we're getting overwhelmed, we'll provide the necessary services. So if it takes more than a day, then we'll be able to do that. Right now, with as you noted, I had 0 rental inspections for July. So as we see more, depending on the volume, we will adjust it accordingly.
Lisa, how are you going to
Absolutely.
handle the people moving in the middle of the night? I mean, you obviously don't know that it's happening.
I can actually comment on that real quick before you, Lisa. Today, Karen, I had a very irate property owner call me because she received a second notice. Now, the first notice she currently had that she was very upset she received that she doesn't have a tenant in there. And I said, okay, well, we will properly note the file. The second letter is because our code enforcer let me be aware that there was a lot of trash out there the next day, which possibly could indicate a new move-in during the night at some point. So I go ahead and automatically issue that follow-up rental letter. And she called me today and I said, whenever a property is noted between our police department, our code enforcement, our streets department, I'll send it out just to be sure. She called me today and she says, you know, I really appreciate what you guys are doing to try and get a hold of this, you know, problem we have in town. And I noted her property again, that nobody moved in. They just had a clean out day that they had an overload of trash. So go ahead, Lise.
No,
All right, thanks.
there's signs on, as our code enforcement go around, they have been doing it long enough that they recognize when there's a property that is being utilized. The police are a really big help. And if our trash department sees a lot of what Dawn was talking about, that also helps if it's noted and we're told about it. So we'll go and we'll do an inspection.
Okay.
I could use a motion, Mr. Stewart.
Dawn, we do not have a motion, right?
No, not as of yet.
I need a motion to accept the health inspector's report.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and second. Any questions of Ms. Jones prior to the call for action? Not hearing. All in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Council, at this time, I'll entertain a motion to provide our solicitor with permission to advertise the disorderly conduct ordinance.
So moved.
Seconded.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. At this time, I'll entertain a motion for providing our solicitor with the permission to advertise the drug paraphernalia ordinance.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. There was a discussion earlier with the fire company during executive session. I don't believe that the fire company is in a position to want to release the escrow money at this time. I do know that we also are in the process of beginning potential contract negotiations if the EMTs so choose to unionize. So at this time, we'll table the motion for the release of escrow monies for 24-hour, 7-day EMT coverage. The Civil Service Commission. At this time, the police department is one full-time officer short with the resignation of
Ryan.
Officer Sweet.
Do we have a full Civil Service Commission? Is there anybody missing off that commission?
Excuse me?
Is there anybody missing off of the Civil Service Commission? Do we have an empty spot?
Well, what I'd like to do, it's been several years since we've formed the Civil Service Commission. The Civil Service Commission consists of 6 individuals. 3 of those individuals would be voting members and 3 would be alternates in the event that a member is unable to attend the meeting.
Okay. So are we reappointing everybody? Are we, what are we
Well,
asking?
not everybody is still in town. We do have a few members that have moved out of town.
How does the process work? Is the community going to be able to let us, is there an application process? Is there, are we going to start over from scratch, the Civil Service Commission?
Who's on it now? Because, that's termed, Rob. That as you get sworn into that, you're termed for a couple of years.
How many years?
Who's currently sworn in, Bill?
I believe currently we've got myself, Judy Gross, and Tom Riley.
Okay, so you need.
And then what about the 3 alternates? I'm sorry, Karen.
Well, you're going to need 1 more and the 3 alternate because Bill's only the liaison. Correct, Bill?
Not for civil service. For civil service, I was the liaison for Planning Commission.
Well, let me ask. All right, go ahead.
Can a sitting member of council be on the Civil Service Commission?
For the Civil Service Commission, 1 member of council is permitted to serve on the Civil Service Commission. Yes.
Okay.
And Bill Stewart is.
So Bill, how many people do we need here?
You need 3.
And they're all going to be, well, Judy
All the
Gross.
alternates.
Okay. All right. Okay. So is this something that we can wait till next meeting to announce who we put on there, I guess? Is that
No.
You want to do that now?
It's whatever the pleasure of council is.
Does anybody have anybody?
Bill has a list.
I've got some members I could bring forward, yes.
We need to get this moved as soon as possible because we're short a guy. It's going to start costing us overtime.
Who do you have on your list, Bill?
Chris, do you have anybody that you would like to add to the Civil Service Commission?
Who's on your list?
Yeah, who's on your list, Bill?
On my list, I've got Mike Knowles, who has previously served on the Civil Service Commission. I've got Eugene Wiley, and I've got Matt McGinley.
Not Eugene. Mike Knowles was removed off of civil service because of other issues.
Yes.
Those.
Judy's last name is Facundo, not Gross.
So I will leave it at the pleasure of council. If council would like to move forward with that slate and find an alternate for Mike Knowles, if that's council's pleasure, then council can move forward accordingly.
Well, why don't we? Because the other 3, you got 3 on now, right?
Well, is there any requirements that somebody who's gone through maybe the criminal justice system or anything like that? Is there a background check that we have to do on anybody from civil service? Because that's my question, I guess.
No, there is not.
Rob, I would rather talk to you later about that.
Yeah, I think, yeah. So do you want to, we'll hold off until next meeting, but hold on, the mayor said that.
Why don't you, because you already got your 3 core people, right? You have Bill, Judy, and who was the other one, Bill?
Tom Riley.
Tom Riley. Okay, so you got your 3 core. You got to get 3 alternates.
You already named 2 alternates.
Why don't you?
Wiley and Matt McGinley, and hold off on the 3rd one. Just name those 5 and get moving so we can get moving with the civil service.
So approve the other 2 tonight.
Overtime.
Hold on now. Approve the other 2 tonight, and then you'll have 5. So you'll have your 3 regular and 2 alternates if one of the regulars can't make it. So you can.
That's what I just got done saying.
Where did you? Disregard.
Okay, so currently we have.
Here you go. Here, I'll solve it. I make a motion for Eugene Wiley to be put on the Civil Service Commission.
Second.
I second Eugene Wiley.
Who made the motion?
I did.
Okay. Aaron, and then second was?
Rob. Oh, Stan.
Stan, I'm sorry. Yeah, thank you, Stan.
I thought I seconded it.
No, I beat you to it.
Oh, okay. All right. Moving right along.
Go ahead. Well, go ahead, Bill. You got a motion on the floor.
Yep. I got a motion and a second. All in favor of appointing Eugene Wiley, Civil Service Commission, please say aye.
As an alternate,
Aye.
as an alternate, right?
As an alternate, that is correct.
Okay, I make a motion for Matt McGinley to be added to the Civil Service Commission as an alternate.
I second it.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries.
Yeah, now we got 5 members.
Well, if there's
Al,
no
you gotta swear 'em in.
prerequisite for Mike Knowles, I mean, like, why aren't we? Well, I mean,
Talk to you later about it. Talk to you later.
So I'm sorry, Karen, did you say that they have to be sworn in?
Yes.
Okay, is that something that can be done at the September meeting?
Alan can do it. Al, when will you be home?
I'll be home Wednesday.
Oh, okay, so.
Tina can also swear in as a notary too.
There you go, okay.
Right, you're right.
Judy's a notary.
Not to take your thunder there, Mayor.
Yeah.
Judy's a notary.
Yeah, we'll have Tina can swear him in as a notary too.
Yeah.
I can do it Wednesday or Thursday. I'll be there Thursday too.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, and he'll coordinate it with Matt and Eugene. Yeah.
Yep.
And yeah, right, just the alternates need to be sworn in. The other 2 don't, or 3 don't need to be. They already are.
How long are those terms for?
4 years. I believe.
6, 4, and 2. It's a staggered term.
Would you like to serve?
I don't think I can, Mayor.
You can give up your seat.
So with the members of the Civil Service Commissions being seated with the exception of one member, one alternate still needing to be named at a later date, at this time I'll ask council's permission to provide a motion to allow the Civil Service Commission to begin the testing process.
So moved.
Who was that, Chris? Chris and Karen, thank you.
So I have a motion and a second to begin the testing process. Any questions prior to the call for action? Not hearing any. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries, and I'm sure the Civil Service Commission will take time to meet prior to our September meeting and provide council with an update of what the timeline is to complete the testing process. Prior to asking action on the next item, I'll defer to our solicitor. The signal service contract, which is a contract that deals with the servicing of the traffic lights and the street lighting. Mr. Musso, prior to taking action, I just want to make sure that that is a professional service, that the borough does not need to take competitive bids.
It's not so much that as I understand the amount is pretty low. It falls below the lowest threshold for public bidding. Is that right, Ms. Jones?
Correct. I believe both amounts were like one, after I've reviewed Signal Services previous contract, they were up to almost 1,800, but I believe in their wording in their contract, it referred to 1,100. And I believe Arena Electric was right there at the minimal.
So that's far below any requirements for even paper bidding, even to get 3 quotes. So it's fine to approve them tonight.
So council, at this time, I'm entertaining a motion to approve Arena Electric for providing signal service and street lighting repair work.
So moved.
Second.
I have a question. Did he ever pay for the 4 permits that were down to basement in January for Penn Terminals? There were 4 permits that he was supposed to bring drawings in. We never got them for a job he was doing at Penn Terminals.
I was not aware of that, Karen. I apologize. I didn't know of any work Again, one of the reasons why I want these yearly commercial inspections, because I feel as if a lot goes on down Penn terminals that we're not aware of. But like any other commercial business, we have to keep on top of it. So I am not aware of it, so I could not answer that if it was actually even before I came into effect on January 27th.
I agree with you about Penn terminals, 100%.
I have a
I know
question.
there were 4 permits and they were about 20 grand.
So
I will
what is
certainly
the
look into
purpose?
it.
What is the, are we leaving another company to go to this company?
So prior to this, Councilman Yanezi, we were using Signal Service, I
Mhm.
believe that was their name, out of Westchester. My full intentions are to always keep business within and make our community stronger.
Right.
When Arena Electric gave me their agreement, I will refer back to Arena Electric helping us in a jam with our veterans banners. I would prefer to keep all business within town.
Is that legal?
Go ahead, Lisa. Sorry.
We need to verify that he has this proper certifications under PennDOT, because he needs to be PennDOT certified to work on the signals. The streetlights are a different story, but the signals themselves have to be done by PennDOT certifications. So he's going to have to provide that prior to you awarding that contract.
So are we awarding his contract because he helped us out with the
No,
flags?
he's already had a contract before.
Was our service provider before?
Yes.
For streetlights,
For
Okay,
streetlights.
for
Yeah.
street lights. Okay.
not for traffic signals, right?
No. No, I don't think,
So I guess my question is, we're not rewarding him for helping us out with the,
No.
We're not rewarding anyone, Councilman Yanezi. Again, my whole purpose is if we have a providing business in town, I always like to keep business within. If
Yeah.
we have to, or if we're unsatisfied, we move on. We don't even have to have a contract for so many years, not even looking for that. It's just an agreement that if something so our streets department knows who to call when a street light is down, or for instance, when Tina gets an email that this street light is out, we're all on the same page as to who to call.
and this guy is local. He's, where's he located at?
The
In
village.
the village.
yeah, but it's taken, he's gonna have to do better than what he did in the past, because he took forever to fix streetlights.
Yeah, but you know what? That Westchester guy, that company we have at Westchester, took me over.
We're talking apples and oranges here, guys.
Yeah, took over a year to
You
fix
have a
that.
traffic signal, which are the signals that the red, yellow, and green signals at your intersections
Right.
that are PennDOT regulated. So they have to have PennDOT certified service people.
Right.
The street lights are a different animal, and I know Tony has done that in the past. So if we're talking about a street light contract, maintenance contract, that's different than a signal service contract. And we've got to make sure that PennDOT
Right.
certified
Right.
company is doing that work.
I
Right.
got that,
So
Lisa. I wasn't confused, Lisa.
Based on the comments that we're receiving from our engineer, I suggest we table moving forward on this until we can verify that Mr. Arena is properly certified to do said work.
You got it. It'll be tabled to September.
Fence permits. There's 2 addresses, correct, Dawn?
Correct. The motion is to approve the 2 remaining fence permits on Seville. This was presented to me a while ago. We have had such delays with Barry Isaac taking control of these last 2 fence permits. With our possible motion on the table to approve the resolution updating Eddystone Borough fees and licenses, I have this as the motion before. It has been brought to my attention, and I verified with Peter, our solicitor, that you as council have the ability to approve these 2 remaining fences. Our previous ordinances and all really don't state exactly what we need stated to our residents, people who want to improve their properties or who are having neighboring issues. One of these 2 has a neighboring issue situation where even trying to get, your neighbors to sign off on, okay, I say it's okay for you to get a fence is kind of, a problem in today's world. I've talked to a few council members along with the mayor on these issues that have been delayed. Again, I gave them to Matt some time ago. He was not in touch with the one resident. So again, it's been brought to my attention that we can move forward and clear our plate with these 2 remaining fence issues because they want to put up privacy fences, which would require them to have to go to the zoning hearing board, which is kind of crazy. They should just fill out a zoning application and it get approved by our zoning officer, which is now Charles Catania Jr. But until we can make the next step with the next motion to do that, then will then be in place to enforce. So I ask that you approve the 2 remaining fence permits on Seville, both 748 and 914. They've already paid their application fees, but due to this situation and delay of our previous BCO, I would ask for this motion to be approved.
Thank you, Dawn.
You're welcome, Mayor.
So let's handle this as 2 motions since it's 2 separate properties, 2 separate property owners. The first is 748 Seville. Is that correct, Dawn?
Correct.
So the borough is in receipt of a permit to install a fence. It'll be a rear yard fence, correct, Dawn?
Correct.
And it's 6 foot high.
Correct.
And it meets our current code for height restrictions.
We do have an awesome new code enforcer who will be on site to confirm that it is within our regulations.
Okay. And Karen, I believe council's taken action before in the past to approve fence permits, correct?
Yes, we have.
Yes.
All right. So at this time, I entertain a motion to approve the construction of a privacy fence behind the property at 748 Seville Avenue.
So moved.
Seconded.
Motion made and seconded. Any questions or comments prior to the call for action? Not hearing. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Dawn, what's the second address?
The second address is 914 Seville.
And again, it's a 6 foot privacy fence in the rear of the building.
So
Correct.
ordered.
What was it, 916?
914.
914, I'm sorry. So council, at this time, I entertain a motion to approve the permit for the fence construction, rear privacy behind 914 Seville Avenue.
So ordered.
Seconded.
Any questions or comments? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I believe the only 2 other items remaining would be the approval of the police car.
Should be.
Chief, are you still with us?
He's not there.
Mayor, do you remember? I know he wanted to get a Dodge Charger. Did he determine which dealer we're going to?
You wanted the
I,
cheap.
I believe it would be David Dodge. I'm getting him on the phone now.
It is David Dodge.
It'd be David
Mayor.
Dodge.
Yes.
And the price of the vehicle is?
$25,990 through CoStars, with
And that
8
does
to
not- that does
9,000
not
for the
include
outfit.
The lights, correct, Chief? The lights will be done through RCS?
Lights will be done, yeah, separate bid for the lights.
Okay. So council, at this time, I'll entertain a motion to provide I guess it would be the borough manager would be the one that's entering into the purchase order. And that would be with David Dodge for the purchase of a 2021
V8 Dodge Charger,
Dodge Charger, and the price, Miss Manager.
$25,990 through CoStars.
So moved.
Seconded.
Motion made and seconded. Any questions prior to the call for action? All in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries.
Hey, Bill,
Yes,
can I make a motion to put somebody else on the civil service?
if you'd like to.
Okay, can I make a motion for Paula Calder to be added to civil service?
I have a motion for Paula Calder for added to the civil service.
Second.
Second.
Can I have a second?
That says an alternate.
Second.
I don't even know if you can hear me.
We hear you, Beth.
Yeah, so I have
All right, I got
Beth.
a motion made and seconded. Any questions about the appointment of Paula Coulter? Not hearing any. All in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
I have a nay from Mr. Yanuzzi. Mr. Sprague?
Aye.
Justin?
Aye.
Motion carries 6-1. Do we need to do a roll call, Dawn, or do you agree 6-1?
I have 6-1. I'm clear on that.
I believe the last action item is to approve the submittal of the RCAP grant. To have a motion to approve the submittal of the RCAP grant, I believe it's the submission cost, the application cost is $500. Is that correct, Ms. Catania?
That is correct.
I'll make the motion for you, Bill.
Thank you. Can I have a second?
Seconded.
Motion made and seconded. Again, council, I'll let everybody know, just to be clear, this is just for the submittal of the RCAP grant. We're not approving moving forward with the acceptance of the grant. If we're so fortunate to receive that would be done under a separate motion. All we're doing is providing our engineer the permission to submit the application, and our borough manager the permission to cut a check for $500. So I have a motion made and seconded. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Ms. Catania, I have 1,000 apologies for you. I didn't realize we didn't do the engineer's report.
Out of sight, out of mind. And you can even see me, Bill. Anyway, just a few things because it's getting very late. Wanted to advise that there will be a zoning hearing for a development along I-95, 291 corridor is getting late. This is for an equipment company. They're going to be looking for several variances. I spoke with the manager this morning and determined that needed to go to FX Riley, who will set that up. We did have a short presentation at the Planning Commission meeting concerning this particular project. Overall, I think it's a good project. I would like to see the building move back a little bit farther than it is, but we could live with it the way they have it currently designed. It's only in a sketch stage. We'd work through that as part of a land development. We did receive word that the borough was recipient of a grant for the playground on Lexington Avenue. It's in the amount of $4,500. And there is no match to that other than my engineering. So that's a very positive thing for the area of the village. I have a request. Aero Aggregate had quite a bit of an issue over on Tuesday with the flooding, and I'm going to suggest, I had some discussions with Archie the day of the storm. However, I'm going to suggest that he provide a video inspection of the line to make sure that all of the aggregate is removed on Simpson. So from 10th and Simpson down to 9th, along 9th, down to Seville, and all the way down to the firehouse. That's the area that we saw that there was aggregate in the lines. I want to make sure that those lines are clear. If Borough Council is okay with that, I know that the manager's looking to have, or Archie wants to have a meeting with the Borough, and I'm going to suggest that we require that he do that as part of the remedial action for all of the aggregate that ended up on our streets, etc. They did a pretty good job cleaning it up along the street and on the sidewalks, so people could walk on those sidewalks. But I do want to have that completed.
Yeah, what about the homeowners though, Lisa, that suffered like losses and stuff? Can we go after that arrow for that?
I'm not aware that anyone had any losses because of that.
Lisa, on 8th Street, you got constant phone calls from people that were trying to clean out their basement. It flooded twice. One person has documentation of his legs with these dots on it. And there's something in that water other than that stuff. But that sewer line there had a backflow preventer put in many years ago, and they have never got flooded after that. He's gotten flooded twice. The whole row there got flooded.
And it could very well be, Mayor. We have had, and I'm glad you brought that up. We've had quite. Oh, I'm sorry, Stan.
That's all right.
I'm looking. It says Alan on.
Yeah, we look alike.
I'm sorry, Councilman. Anyway, we have gotten at least 6 requests for investigation of sinkholes. I want all residents to be aware that the resident is responsible for this sewer lateral into the street to the main. We're doing dye testing and discussing those with each one of the residents that have called. But what we have found is that for the most part, it's their own sewer lateral. I guess if Dawn, would you have that list of those complaints? Because I didn't see them.
So just to bring council up to date, I will be getting a list of our streets department fees for Tuesday, August the 4th. I will be giving them to our solicitor, and we will be sending a bill to our aggregates for the cost of our streets department fees for that day. The only complaint that I did hear of was through Pat at PGA. Apparently one of the guys that Archie had out there on the street cleaning up apparently threw rocks at his truck cleaning up. And apparently she went to the police department and filed a complaint. So that's the only complaint I know of. We do have pictures to document everything. Our streets department did a great job. But Archie keeps calling me at the last minute saying, hey, Dawn, how about 10 o'clock this morning? No, it's not going to work. I suggested today, how about Thursday, hoping he came back with a time that worked for him so I could invite all of council and Lisa and the chief and mayor, whoever would like to be involved in this meeting. But to give you guys some heads up, he's usually wanting to fit it in like within an hour of the day, and that's just not going to fly. So I will keep you all included on this in case anybody would like to join in the meeting, but that's the only complaint I heard of.
Well, that's actually because we've had so many meetings with him, Dawn. He's probably trying to blow smoke again.
Yes, I have been told that, Karen. That's why I would like everybody there if they are available. But of course, I was given some advice Sunday, Saturday, as to some Jersey barriers being placed, which I immediately called Archie to do so. But when I went down there today, it doesn't look like he did any of that. So I'm not sure. I think we're expecting rain again, possibly on Wednesday.
Oh, man.
Well, somebody
So-
said he was putting truckloads up on and dumping it inside the building.
Oh, great.
I agree.
Again,
Up the Jersey
another good
barriers.
reason. Another good reason to have yearly commercial inspections. But again, it's just crazy because we cannot keep up, whether or not it's the tenants, the businesses. It's just, we're getting there, but we all just need to work together in hopes of, getting some type of control down here. We'll get there.
Oh.
I'm sorry, group.
Who's handling the high grass and stuff?
So our code enforcement, which is Dave Changlione, we will all soon to get, I can almost guarantee you, get complaints because Dave knows his stuff. He will be going around doing grass complaints, broken sidewalks, trash, the dumping. I already have in his bin for tomorrow, along with some other inspections. But it's unfortunate that these tenants or homeowners think that they can just not cut their grass, not keep their property up to code. But you know what? We're going to get there. Now that we have new people out on our streets, I assure you that somehow you're all going to get complaints how hard he is. But he just knows his stuff. And he wants to get our streets back in order.
So I got an address. I'll email it to you. I won't say
Yes, please do, and I'll forward it right over.
All right.
And I'll make sure with our public comment from Luann Spencer that Dave is aware of that, because I've had multiple pictures come in of people with this trash, and it's a shame because we have property owners and or tenants who will pay for bulk trash, and then you have these other idiots who think that they can get away with it, but they're not going to, because we keep up with them. We keep the property files noted.
That's why they get their orange stickers.
Correct. And their little door hangers for them to call here, because it's the same unfortunate addresses that we have to continue to run to. But you know what? They're going to get sick of us sooner or later.
Well, I've had everybody and their brother try. It's been over a month that facade, the awning fell down, or part of the building fell down across the street from my house. The wires are still down in front of my house. It's been over a month, and I've had several people contact people, look into it. I can't get anything done.
All right. Well, I know exactly where you're talking about, so I will make a note for Dave.
It fell off the building across the street, and Danny Moore drug it across the street to the pole, because the pole's on my side.
Dawn,
Yep.
just
Yes.
FYI, I already contacted Comcast, and I've contacted Verizon. We put in a PA1 call to verify it may be some other wire. We know it's not Pico, so we're working on it from our end already.
Okay, perfect. I'll just give Dave a nice friendly reminder, just so he can introduce himself to this property owner over the phone.
Yep.
Thanks, Lisa.
Council, looks like there's one other action item that's left. I don't know if members of council had an opportunity to look at the borough fees and license costs. I know that was kind of the first order of business when Catania came in to handle the inspection work for the BCO. They made a recommendation to update our fee schedule. That fee schedule is, based on what the surrounding communities around us charge. As you're well aware, Catania provides the service for multiple communities within our area. So I'll leave it up to council if they had an opportunity to review the revised fee schedule, which was done by resolution. So we do have the opportunity to, by resolution again, update these fees. I'll entertain a motion to accept or approve the updated fee schedule for permits.
So moved.
Second it.
Any questions or comments by council prior to the call for action? Not hearing any questions. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Council, is there any other action?
Mr. Stewart,
Yes, sir.
I want to make a motion that we pay the police contract and all money that are owed.
That we accept the police contract?
Can you repeat that?
Yes, I'd like to make a motion that we pay the police contract all the money that they're due.
Peter, you want to?
Mr. Musso, I'm going to look for a little bit of clarification from you, and I'll get some clarification from you, Stan. Are you looking to just pay the proposed wages, or are you looking to withdraw litigation?
No withdrawal litigation. I want them paid. They should have got the contract.
I mean, obviously anybody can make any motion they want. As we know, at the reorganization meeting in January, the police contract that had been purportedly approved by the prior council failed to follow Act 205, and also happened in what's called the lame duck period. So after the municipal election, but before the new council was approved. So the new council properly essentially rescinded their votes and nullified the approval of that contract. So there is no contract to approve that exists.
So you
The
don't want,
contract still exists.
you don't want to accept this contract, right?
Right, it doesn't exist. And you're saying the proposed contract.
It does exist. Everything's there.
It's in litigation.
Right.
All the more reason not to approve anything because it's litigation.
Well, just like the EMTs, that was in litigation too, and you approved to hire them.
I mean, obviously people can
Right or
vote
wrong.
they like.
Right or wrong? The EMTs were in litigation, you approved it to hire them, right?
Mr. Signal, though, I do prefer that, we do put motions on the agenda, and we all have an opportunity to add whatever we like to agenda. I'll entertain your motion to approve.
My motion is to accept the contract and pay all money due.
All right, I've got a motion on the table to accept the police contract and all money due.
Second.
I have a motion made and seconded. Council, do we have any questions, comments before I call for a roll call vote? My only comment is that, it is an item that is in litigation at this time. So, Ms. Jones, roll call, please.
Councilwoman Gross,
I think she got bumped off or something.
all right, I will, somebody wants to try and maybe call her. Stan Sigda?
Yes.
Councilman Sigda, yes. Councilwoman Reeves?
Yes.
Councilman Hartline?
No.
Councilman Sprague?
No.
Councilman Yanuzzi?
No.
Council President Stewart?
No.
Councilwoman Gross, are you on yet?
Trying to call her, Dawn.
Regardless of whether she's on or not, the motion is defeated. 4 votes no, 2 votes yes.
Mr. Stewart, I have something I'd like to say. Do I have the floor?
Mr. Mayor, you have the floor.
Yes, with everything that's been going on throughout the year so far with the files missing and everything else, and nobody can find anything going on, You know, I don't agree everything with what Councilman Wilson was saying in the past, but I do agree about this one thing. We need the Attorney General to come into this town to investigate. There's a lot of things going wrong in this town. Needs to be squared away.
I'd like to make a motion to bring the Attorney General in for investigation of the borough.
Is there a particular area that you would like the Attorney General to investigate?
Everything.
Everything is upstairs, downstairs, and go back in years, so we find out what really happened.
Everything.
Everything.
What are we asking the Attorney General to do, Mr. Mayor?
Investigate you guys?
For everything that's going on.
Is there a specific area of investigation, Mr. Mayor?
Everything.
Hold on, let me get this straight. You want the Attorney General to come in and investigate you guys for doing all this stuff before we got on council?
Investigate all of you.
Everybody.
Okay, let's get the Attorney General. I second that one. I second that one.
There's been files missing.
The motion's been
Nobody
made,
can find
Mr.
the stuff.
Hey, I already there's a motion and a second on the table, Councilman Stewart. Let's do it.
Mr. Musso, is there any comments that you
Accusations
have as the
made.
borough solicitor
People are doing
in terms
things
of
wrong.
how we would go
Files
about bringing the
missing,
Attorney General in
everything else.
to do a
I don't know.
blanket
I
Bring them in
in the
here and get
municipality?
everything done.
So I could look into it. I mean, obviously when we vote for
We
the
made a
motion.
motion and you seconded it.
I want you guys to understand that when Councilman Wilson looked into this, that the Attorney General said that his purview is not municipal government.
Well, somebody needs to look into this.
Yes, somebody does need to look into this. Somebody needs to be held accountable for everything that's happened in the
just
town.
Absolutely, I
Right.
agree with you, especially with the missing files.
Right.
Yep, that's right.
And
We've got a lot of missing files since January.
people making accusations that they shouldn't.
Accusations and everything else. It's ridiculous.
Right.
But we're supposed to be all working together, which we're not.
Not. Stuff's being signed behind our backs and everything.
Mr. Signa, can you make a specific reference of something that was signed behind your back?
Brought all the new people in. You never came to us to ask here's the people we're going to bring in to work with you. We didn't know until January when you brought them in.
We took a vote.
Those folks were all appointed as professional services that serve at the borough at the pleasure of borough council.
Right, and
There was nothing-
where were
there
they
was
all
nothing-
interviewed
there was
at?
nothing
Where were they interviewed?
inappropriate
We never
or
Where were they all
illegal
interviewed
about
at there,
making
Mr.
those
Stewart?
appointments.
There was a motion on the floor, and I believe it was seconded.
You gotta know who you're in contact first. If the Attorney
think-
General doesn't handle that.
We don't know that until we find out.
All
I'd
right.
recommend that we talk to the DA.
All right, I got a motion. I got a motion on the floor to contact the Attorney General to see if the Attorney General has jurisdiction over doing a blanket investigation to the municipality.
So I'm sorry, the motion is to look into it, right? Is that what's going on?
That's all.
You have a motion made, seconded.
My records were Stan motioned it and Councilman Yanezi seconded. And Solicitor Musso will look into this.
So I guess let's phrase the motion if it's acceptable to you, Mr. Signa, is that there would be a motion to have the borough solicitor contact the Attorney General to see if there's any standing for an investigation of the borough. Is that acceptable to you, Mr. Signa?
Yes.
Is that acceptable to you, Mr. Yanuzzi, who seconded the motion?
Oh, I'm on board with everything.
So motion made and seconded. Any other questions or comments before a call for action?
Well, it's always go to Department of Justice.
That may be where we head.
Hold on.
Good. That's federal, good.
So I got a motion made and seconded. Let's do a roll call, Ms. Jones.
Why not? That's Councilwoman Gross. Councilman Sigda.
Yes.
Councilwoman Reeves,
Yes.
Councilman Hasseltine, I'm sorry, Hartline. My God, Hartline.
Close
Sorry.
enough. Yes.
Yes, thank you. Councilman Sprague,
Oh, yes, please.
Councilman Yanezi,
Oh, that's a big eye.
and Council President Stewart.
Yes.
Looks like we're all in favor, absent.
Is that unanimous? Unanimous?
Almost, yes. Mhm.
All right.
Beth is not on the phone, but I would assume yes.
Mr. Signa, any other motions you'd like to bring to the table this evening?
No, but you did right that you did all the, does all the buildings have COs now?
No.
Okay. Is any handicap equipment been put in for people to get to the second floor of the firehouse and into Joe Hughes' hall?
I
Because
don't believe that we've done any work at the firehouse at all.
Okay, because I got my letter back from the EEOC that says I'm in charge of all the buildings, and it's up to me to come to use council to get these issues squared away. Did you get the letter from the EEOC like I did?
I have not as of yet.
Okay. Well, I got my letter and it tells me what I need to do. And they said I have the authority to go in and get this stuff done. I need your help to do it, Mr. Stewart.
All right. I guess, Ms. Catania, if you could ask our new BCO to set up a meeting for the firehouse and identify any ADA accessible issues down at the firehouse, I would greatly appreciate it.
I would respectfully ask for a copy of the letter from the EEOC.
Yeah, no problem. I'll send it to you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Just because I do know that at the time of the review for that particular project, that it met the ADA. So I need to see what it is that they're looking for.
Well, somebody told them I was in charge of all the buildings. I never told them that. So they said in the letter, you'll read it, you'll know what I said.
Okay.
And these issues need to be addressed. Because the other letter went to the ADA. I'm waiting for their answer. Because the handicap bathrooms in the firehouse
you
are on the
went to the
second floor.
ADA, I would assume that you went to the labor and industry, correct?
I went to the EOC first, and they sent the paperwork over to the ADA because that's where it should have went.
Ms. Catania, is the ADA accessibility issues with facilities, is that under the jurisdiction of labor and industry?
Yes.
Okay.
Because
Yes.
all the bathrooms that are ADA are on the second floor of the firehouse, which many of us can't get up there. Now, also, you asked Mr. Amuso to get all the copies of the work that was done in the firehouse through ProAction. Have you done that yet?
I contacted ProAction and asked them for the testing information, as I was requested to do. I have not heard back from them.
Okay.
But I sent an email to Kim asking her for that information.
Okay. Thank you very much, Lisa.
You're quite welcome.
That's all I have, Mr. Stewart. Thank you for letting me have the floor.
No worries. Any other action that needs to be taken in front of council this evening?
Mr. Stewart, I have one thing just for public awareness. Eddystone Avenue is going to be closed on August the 18th for sanitary sewer relining work from 4th and Eddystone to 9th and Eddystone. It's
What are
only
those
for a
dates
day.
again?
August the 18th.
Thank you.
An email had been sent to all of council, giving them an update on that. We will send out another reminder and we'll put it on the TV channel and a code red.
Any other items that need to be discussed in front of council this evening? Not hearing any, I please ask for someone to make a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Stan, you wanna get that, Stan?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Meeting adjourned. Thank you, everybody, for your time.
Thank you, Jesus.
Good night.
Good
Good
night.
night.